Vaush, Vaush, Vaush. There has been a lot of unfortunate circumstances that have been unfolding before Vaush, and one can easily describe this as unstable. Because horses stable? Nah, stupid joke. Ethan has been milking this, thinking that a horse is a cow, and you can see that on his live streams he's coming out and really going all out, trying to emphasize to everyone that Vaush is into horses.
Howdy, partners. Welcome to the H3 podcast. Woo-wee! We got ourselves a whole barn of a show out here today, boys. That's right.
Now, just to give you guys a quick summary as to what's going on, Vaush ended up exposing himself for being someone who is interested in horse corn. And of course, the other particular type of corn, polycorn. Now, I'm going to use the word poly in substitute of lollipop, if you know what I mean. Because believe it or not, the word poly is also being censored. As a matter of fact, if you go to Twitter, you can see that there's a trending tab for it, but when you click on it, it doesn't allow you to access the page. And just in case you guys don't know what poly is, I can tell you guys this right now. It has to do with underage particulars. I'll leave it at that, okay? And not in a good way. It's all a fantasy of very explicit content. And so Vaush inadvertently clicked on a file that exposed the kind of content that he's into when it comes to X-rated content. And you can only imagine how the internet took it. And it wasn't exactly with open arms. No, my friend, it was far beyond that. If anything, there was many people just mocking the entire situation. And then there was other particulars such as Tipster and Keffels who brought attention to the entire matter and attempted to defend it.
And I know there's a lot of people who are going to disagree with my position on this. That's fine. Not everybody has to agree with me. If I legitimately thought that Vaush was advocating for things that would potentially bring harm to children, I would not be defending him here.
And so you can only imagine that not a lot of people took this very well. As a matter of fact, because Tipster is so unbelievably hated, it was even worse for him. Ethan ended up coming out responding to Tipster because, believe it or not, Ethan went on an Instagram rage where he was just posting so much content about the situation that when he finally got to Tipster, he just let out a big ass fuck you to him.
Very disappointing, Tip continues, considering how well he's done recently at making good faith arguments. I expected better from Ethan. Oh, I was doing so good. Shut the fuck up. Dumbass.
So you can see that Ethan, he's just like tired of it. He's like, bro, like, who are you, man? Like, why are you in my space? You ain't in my level, bro. I don't need to give you the time of day. And that's how a lot of people feel, because to Ethan, he's thinking like, bro, why are you giving an opinion on this? Like, if you barely understand the situation, because if you guys don't know, in Ethan's last stream, he ended up going over all the context of every single clip that has been produced of Vaush talking about CP.
Granted, a lot of those were not the full context. And it's fair to set it up that way because online, a lot of the people that see those only see those. Mm-hmm. So today we give you that, and now we give you the full thing.
So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I'm going to go ahead and leave the stream linked down below in the description with the timestamp so then you guys don't have to go search for it. Go ahead, check it out, and then you guys can see more of the context. I will say this, okay? I think that out of all the people who are giving opinions online, I think that the one person who should definitely give a real substantial with a lot of substance opinion is Vaush. Because when you take a look at Vaush's stream, it's just an entire rant. He doesn't really back up anything that he says. Unlike Ethan, where he actually went from point to point and even backed it up with the context, you can't help but walk away and think that, hey, you know what? Maybe Ethan's right. So if Vaush wants to convince us that, hey, you know what? I'm not the person who people describe online, you're going to have to do the work, man. Because in the same stream, he talks about how he's going to rely on the faith of people to determine whether he really is or not a degenerate.
As frustrating as it is, I really do think that like a fair engagement with my content, with what I believe and what I say, I really do think that most reasonable people of good political disposition will see that, and upon contact with me, watching my stuff, talking to me, whatever, like anything, you know, will think I'm all right.
My dude, that's not how it works, man. Unfortunately, people don't have the time to go and engage with your content. They have work, they have family, they have to attend, they have their own business they have to run. It's up to you to provide that information for all of us. As much as you would want people to go out there and be good faith and attempt to search who you really are, we just don't have the time to do that. I'll give you guys a good example of this. So for instance, Vaush talked about in the stream that Ethan was being snaky.
It's mostly just really saddening because I thought that Ethan Klein and I were on good terms, which I know he made fun of. I think at some point he was like, as if I would ever be friends with this pedophile, which is really disingenuous because the last time we talked on Twitter DMs, he was really friendly to me. Just a little while ago when he was going through the rounds because he was doing like weird arguments with Hassan about Zionism or whatever, he didn't like a tweet that I had liked. So he reached out to me and asked me about it. We talked for a bit and I disagreed with him. But eventually I moved over and said, oh, okay, and I unliked the tweet at his request.
That's what I'm talking about. Do you see how he makes claims, but there is not one shred of a DM or any evidence that can back up his words? That's literally his entire stream. He doesn't back up anything he says. Because as it stands, Ethan did the work. He actually went to go get all of your videos with the full context and he broke it down on stream. And not only did he break it down, he attempted to understand what your argument was.
How does somebody get to the point of possessing this content? Must be illegal.
The problem is, I think what he's saying is, if you have it, you're not hurting anyone. But what you are doing is you are
supply and demand.
Exactly. You're creating a demand for a product.
He talks about all of this.
Okay, let's watch it. Well, I'll wait then. I'll wait.
He even said, all right, let's watch more of the video so he can add more context to it. But at the end of the day, man, like, Ethan is against you. He made arguments against you and you made a video ranting. If that video was to be sent to court and Ethan brought his evidence, like, you would lose, man. There's just no way that you can get by and win a court case with that kind of evidence. Just a video ranting about it and saying that, oh, you know, I hope that people will find it in their own interest to go out of their way so they can check out who Vaush truly is. Although the circumstances are not tantamount, you didn't even want to do your own due diligence to see what kind of arguments Ethan made against you.
You should really watch this segment. They didn't just watch the out of context clips. They watched some of the explanations too. No. Oh, pigeon. Jesus. Leapt across the desk. No. I've done this so many times. So many times. Like, it's been 5 years, guys. 5 years I've done this. And every time it's the same thing. Every time things go down this road, it's always the same collection of, like, really aggressively bad faith, obviously dishonest. You know, I think at one point, I saw this from the Discord. Somebody said that Ethan said that I had, like, a folder full of CP or something. What the fuck?
I don't remember Ethan saying that, but what I can tell you is that I was probably distracted when he did probably say that. I don't know. But the question is, why is it that you're willing to believe this guy and not actually check out the content yourself? Because of your lack of engagement with Ethan, your subscriber count is free falling at about 9.8 meters per second square, and it's accelerating. And I would suggest that you get on that right now while the topic is still hot. Because if you don't, your career, it's gonna go out for milk and it's never gonna come back. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. If you guys wanna go ahead and follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, go ahead. I have the links on the banner and in the description down below. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. That's all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.